Working in a luxury group has always been my goal, as I decided to study fashion, watching runway shows and visiting high-end boutiques when I was traveling around. And of course, when I was a kid, I was always looking up to these creative directors of big brands, big companies, because one day I thought I could become one. Now everything changed, but in some ways it's still one of my dreams. And today I want to tell you about my last working experience in Fendi at Palazzo della Civiltà Italiana headquarters in Rome. First of all, for the people that are new to my videos, I'm Matteo, I'm a fashion designer, and I graduated in London 2 years ago studying fashion design at Kingston University. And since then I've always worked in different companies, so I traveled around Europe and I worked for 4 different companies. All of the work placement were internships, and I've always worked as a fashion designer for menswear, women's wear, accessories, etc. But since I still consider myself very ignorant about all the jobs, placement, role titles that there are in 2023 in the fashion world, I wanted to try something different. So still creative, but something that was a little bit closer to the marketing world and to the buying, because I've always been fascinated with all these roles, but I wasn't really sure that I had the right skills to actually perform them. So while I was finishing my last internship in Rome for Archivio Meribo, which I already told you about, and I will link the video somewhere around here, I was looking for a new placement. So I was, looking on LinkedIn and Business of Fashion, all this website. Maybe someday I will make a video on where to look for jobs in fashion, because it's actually very difficult. And I found this application for Fendi, which is one of the most important brands in Italy, and I wanted to work in Italy, and was for a visual merchandiser position, which I didn't really know that much what it was. So I informed myself about the role, and that's what I found out. Visual designers and merchandisers are responsible for designing and creating attractive visual displays for retail outlets. And they're able to do that by using a certain degree of space, understanding and management to enhance the aesthetic appeal of the walkways, the counters, the window displays and the in-store displays. Talking specifically about my experience in Fendi, I started to work at their HQ in October 2022, and I've been there for 6 months, so until April 2023. And I was working at their HQ in Palazzo della Civiltà Italiana, which is an incredible place, an incredible HQ to have, and I believe it's the most beautiful that any company has at the moment, because it's actually an Italian monument. Fendi has actually supported the renovation of the building, and now they're renting it, so they're actually renting a monument. Of course, I cannot disclose too much about the company because I don't want to get in trouble with Fendi, but I can tell you that I was in a team with 6 people, which was called the in-store visual merchandising team. So it was the team in charge to design all the in-store experience. So as soon as you go inside the boutique and you look around, how you find the product, how the product are placed, the color palettes, the animations, and all the parts. And I worked with them very closely, and I can honestly tell you that it felt like family from day one. I was getting on so well with every one of them. We were laughing all day about the fact that we had too much work to do, and it's good because when you get on well with the team, even if you get out a little bit later, or you need to work more on something, or you need to be in a rush all the time in order to respect the deadlines, we will still ironically make jokes and laugh about the quantity of work that we had and the shitty work that fashion is. For example, the fashion emergencies, as they call them, because sometimes it looks like you're losing someone, you need to save someone's lives, but of course it's just fashion and business. And let's be true, there could never be a real emergency in fashion, but people working in this environment cannot behave like there is every day a huge problem to solve and someone is gonna die for that problem, which I kind of share because it's a very competitive reality, but at the same time it's ironic and funny. So I really got on well with my team during those 6 months. Now, from a professional day-by-day point of view, I was a visual designer because most of our team goals and projects were based around designing guidelines for all the Fendi worldwide boutiques and stores in order to explain to them in the most detailed and clearest way how to showcase the product in order to push some sales on a certain category or move the client attention on a different product or a different collection launch. So it was very interesting because we were always collaborating strictly with the product merchandisers and the product managers. And the main difference, even if their name is quite similar, between a visual merchandiser and a product merchandiser is that the visual is more about the creative part and how to display the product, and instead the product merchandiser is more about the actual spreadsheets, data analysis and the sales. And then we collaborate together in order to achieve certain marketing goals set by the company by displaying the product in the most beautiful way possible. Then the second crucial part of our job was to support the Fendi Palazzo flagship store, which is the most important Fendi boutique in the world, the most historical one, in launching and setting up every couple of months, I would say, the new collection, capsule collection, special collections. Because of course, when you launch a new collection in store, everything has to be coherent. So the colors of the walls should match the color palettes of the collection, or there should be some animation to support this new collection, maybe explaining how the garments are made or the inspiration behind them. So it was very interesting because we were working overnight and it was heavy sometimes because we would finish maybe very early in the morning, but at the same time we would work all together closely, dividing the amount of work between all the visual merchandisers according to the category or an area of the store. For example, I will set up only the kidswear area, and then the more skilled people will set up the shoes or the bags and leather goods area, which is the most important part of the brand, because it's the category that constitutes the major part of the revenues that Fendi gets every year. So it was great for me because I learned a lot about how to style a mannequin, how to utilize the space in the best way, and also understanding the light that in the stores is one of the most important and crucial aspects in order to showcase the product in the most appealing way. Okay, and then we get to the best part of my experience in Fendi, the runway shows and the showrooms. So for the ones that don't know how does it work, after each runway shows, every luxury brand has 5 to 7 days of showroom, which is a rented huge open space where all the collection is presented. And it's meant for VIC, which are very important clients, or also internal buyers to decide what products should they buy for that year and actually put in production. And this is essential for clients and buyers because they can have a closer look at the craftsmanship and they can touch the fabrics, they can see more clearly the products, because of course a runway show is always a dynamic kind of showcase of the product. Instead, in a showroom you can actually get close to the mannequins and get a better idea of the inspiration and the look of the collection more in general. So where the visual designers and merchandisers come into play? Of course, for the visual designers, they design all the fixtures and all the space of the showroom, like I would say interior design, just to simplify their work. And the visual merchandisers instead design how the products should be displayed in the showroom as well. So we will work using the same techniques and the same way that we will use in a flagship boutique to support the stores. But in terms of a showroom, there are many deadlines that you need to respect, but because there are many people, even inside the company, that need to have a look at the product. But this is even more crucial because all the buyers, even if they're internal to the company, need to actually quickly understand how the product can reflect the DNA of the brand in order to maximize the sale according to the corporate strategy that the company has set up for that precise collection or product. So it was a very fast-paced and dynamic environment, and it was all based in Via Solari in Milano, and we'll eat there, we'll stay all day there. And it was, of course, even in that case, heavy, but at the same time, we were always joking sarcastically about the deadlines, about the CEO coming and looking at the product. And of course, if something wasn't right, we needed to change everything again. So for me, at least, it was a great experience, and being in that kind of environment where you could meet a lot of people and exchange with them. And obviously, after some time and some achievements, people started to know me and to trust me more and give me more important kind of tasks. And sometimes I would get them wrong, of course, but eventually I can say that I was very satisfied with this job and this role. Wrapping it up, my main goal before starting this experience, and the main reason behind it, was to adapt my interest in interior design, in styling, in fashion and in creative presentation to a more business corporate kind of environment where I need to always face some marketing needs, some strategies from a merchandising point of view. And I didn't know anything about it because always designing in my life, of course you need to co-work with buyers, but sometimes we have a little more creative freedom. Instead, the purpose of this role is to enhance what the design team makes and creates, so the design potential, in order to maximize the sales. So it's kind of an in-between between a creative role and a more business-driven role. And that's what I wanted, because although I decided I will pursue my career in design, now I know a lot more about retail and I know a lot more about how my design will be actually showcased in the store. So I believe it's something that for people that are actually studying design that are watching these videos, you should actually do. Maybe just an internship, 6 months, and try a company like this, be in a luxury environment that is always very nice and helpful and can give you great contacts, but still try something different and not be limited to only what you have studied. Because I had the skills to do it, I've done it, of course with some difficulties, but then eventually now I know that if I want to pursue a career, I'm doing that with the full awareness that I know what other fields will be like, and I'm sure of the one path that I want to follow. Bye, see you in the next one.